Okay, so let's start talking about college. How do we start making a college plan? These are some of the major steps that you guys should be thinking about now and things that you can start to do right now to be prepared for when the year starts. The first thing is to research careers of interest. If you don't know what you want to do when you go to college, it's okay. You can still, you have time to think about it. But if you have something that you're interested in, something that you like, that you want to know more about, please do some research. Try to see, for example, what education is needed. If you are okay with doing an associate degree or you have to do a bachelor or a master. Also make a list of colleges that you want to apply to. If you don't know anything about college yet, well, this is what this is about. But if you have an idea, if you already have talked about college during your previous year in ICHS, try to do a deep research in those colleges, taking a virtual tour if necessary, going to orientation, knowing what is it that you want to in a college. Is it the environment? Is it the bigger class, a smaller class? Try to do research to see what is it that you're looking when you're applying to a college so that you have a better idea when we start doing the process. And apply to financial aid options. This we will be talking about in more details later. But yeah, applying to financial option is essential since this will be the way for you to know how you're going to afford college. These are the type of colleges that most of our students apply to. The first one is CUNY. We encourage all of our students to apply to CUNY even if they have in mind that they want to go to another school. This is because CUNY is one of the most affordable options and it's really close to home. These are some of the characteristics. So even if you start at a CUNY, you can always transfer to another college if you want to save some money. But yeah, CUNY is the one that we encourage our students to apply to. SUNY, some of the characteristic is that students get to live on campus, so they experience the whole college student experience, and it's a really new environment. Going to a SUNY is completely different from being in New York and being most New Year's in high school. For private colleges, they are more prestigious. So if you later on you want to find a job, the name of your college will make an impact on the job that you want to find, and they have a smaller class size, so the students get more benefits. This is how a college list looks like. If you haven't done that yet, we're going to start working that. We're going to start to work on that during your college year, but during your year 12th grade year. But if you want, you can start doing that now. Which college is above your academics? This is the list for CUNY, SUNY, and private college. For CUNY, you can only apply to 6 colleges. For SUNY, the number of colleges that you can, for private, it can vary depending on your interest and depending on the school. Which school is above your academics? For example, if you have a GPA of a 90 and the college that you really want to go is 95, you know that is a rich school because you're not really sure that you will get accepted since the requirements is above your academics. A match school is in the range of your academics. So as I mentioned, if you have a GPA of a 90 and the college that you want to apply to has a requirement of 91 or 80, 89, that means that you have a lot of probabilities, a lot of chances of getting accepted into that college. Safety college are mostly community college or colleges that are below your academics. So if you have a 90 and the college that you're applying to is requires an 80, then you know that you have many probabilities of getting accepted into that college. We encourage all of the students to have at least 2 safety schools on their list, since many things can happen, and they will be really sure that if they don't get accepted to their match schools or the rich school, they will have a safety that they know for sure they will be accepted to.
And I just want to add on that if you already have a college list, that's great. And if you haven't really created your college list, that's fine. One of the first things you'll be doing in your classes, especially in your crew class in next year in September, is you're going to be either revising your college list based on, you know, your GPA, where you qualify, if it's a match, reach, safety, or you'll be building your college list. So don't feel uncomfortable or unprepared if you haven't done it yet. Remember, applications start at the end of October, so there's still some time.
Yeah, so let's look at the CUNY requirements. As you can see in the bottom, for community college, there is you don't need SAT scores, and the GPA is below 80. So students have a lot of probability of getting accepted to a community college. So we encourage students to apply to at least both of them. And there's nothing wrong with going to a community college. You can always transfer from a community college to a four-year college or to a SUNY and even a private. That will increase your probability into getting accepted into a four-year college, as you can work on your academics. Now, for four-year colleges, they are more selective. This is why the GPA is higher. But if you apply through this is only general admission, as you can see in the left. In the right, if you apply through the SIC College Discovery, you will have more probabilities of getting accepted because the GPA requirement gets lower. For SAT scores, it also gets lower, but for your class 2021, GPA will not be a requirement because of the pandemic that we're going through. This is general admissions for SUNY. This is only so you can see, generally SUNYs are a little bit more selective, so they require higher GPA. They also have community college and College of Technologies. This is now SUNY colleges through the EOP program. This is a program that you can apply to, is completely based on financial need and based on academics need. So let's look at an example here. If you apply, for example, to Binghamton, and the general admissions requirement for GPA is from 93 through 98. Now, if you apply through the EOP program, the GPA that you need is from 84 to 91. Applying through the EOP program will really increase your probability of getting accepted to the college that you want to. Some colleges will not accept you with general admission, but they will accept you with EOP. The EOP, one of the requirements is a summer program. So you will need to be prepared to spend summer working for the program. And if you really want to go to a SUNY, it's important that you apply for this early, as this get full. So it's important for you to start thinking, if you want to go to a SUNY, apply to EOP. It's completely based on financial and academics needs, so that you will have more probabilities into getting into the SUNY that you want to.
Yeah, and if I could just add, when we're talking about the EOP program, and we're going to talk to you a little bit later about financial aid and the need for, you know, your families providing us with information to help you apply for financial aid. And the financial aid, that's why it's important for you to give it to us earlier, or like when we ask for it, because then you'll have a higher probability of, you know, applying to EOP programs. If you are interested in going to a SUNY school, that's very important.
These are some of the requirements during the COVID crisis. As mentioned before, SAT will be not required for 2021 applications. This means that it's really important that you work on letter of recommendations. If you have a teacher in mind that you have a good relationship with, that you think you did a really good job on their class, please try to let them know that you want a letter of recommendation from them. Ask them really soon. As soon as the year starts, you can ask them so that they have time to write it down and really have time to write down a good one. And also for personal statement, I think you already have a personal statement. You're going to work on that in your English class, but if you have one that you feel pretty good about it, please make sure that you show it to a teacher and that you make some change to it, since those two things will be really essential in your 2021 application. So remember, letter of recommendations are really important. Please ask them with time, and personal statements are also very important.
Now, for personal statements for next year, you're gonna do some of that writing in Miss Aquila's class, in her English class. So it's very important that if you haven't really written a personal statement before, that when you're doing that writing project, that you make sure you turn things in on time, things like that, so that Ms. Akila has plenty of time to give you feedback on the personal statement, because that statement is going to be not just important for the grade in her class, but it might also be the difference between you getting admitted into one college or another college. So just make sure that you're on point with that project.
Yeah, so the sooner you have this, the sooner we can start and finish the applications. Anybody has a question about anything?
Yes, I have one. So about letter of recommendation, how many we needed from the teachers?
We will need for CUNY, we need 2. So we will ask only 2. If you're applying to another college, then we will have to see the requirements for that specific college. But yeah, we're gonna start asking 2 teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so it's good to ask. So just have 2 teachers that you think would be good for giving you letters of recommendation. But if you've also done something outside of school, if you can get a letter of recommendation that way, that's also very good. If sometimes you guys have worked for like different programs, maybe in the past, for example, some of you worked for the SYEP. That might be, you might want to talk to someone who you had a good relationship with in those programs. So, I guess a lot of students think of school as the first place to ask for letters of recommendation. But remember that if you've had any kind of professional experience outside of school, and by professional, I just mean even if you have a job somewhere where you think you've been a really good hard worker, then those are also good opportunities for letters of recommendation.
Mr. Martin, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you said the SAT exam is not required for 2020, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, 2021. So it's about all of the colleges or some of them?
Oh, good question. So CUNY has said that they're not requiring it for all the colleges, for the CUNY schools. SUNY, Cecilia, have we had word from SUNY yet, or is it also no requirement? If you're going under CUNY, then they already said that they're not going to look at it. So they'll basically, what they're saying is when you do the applications for the schools, you'll still have to submit the score you got, but they said that they're not going to take it into consideration. That's not going to be part of it, just because of difficulties with just with what's going on with the pandemic. For 2021, they're not asking for it, and they did the same for students who just graduated. They did not have the requirement as well. So I would say that there are maybe some private schools or more selective schools that still that might still look at your SAT. But most of our students, they apply to CUNY schools, and CUNY has already said that they are not going to have it as a requirement. Now, I think most or all of you should have already taken the SAT scores, the SAT exams. So I think we're letting you know this so that maybe some of you might be trying to really practice to take the SAT again to get a higher score. But if you are only applying to a CUNY school, and that's your goal, one of the CUNYs, then we're saying that then you shouldn't really dedicate a lot of time to taking the SAT exam. But if you are planning to go to a more selective school, then it is something probably you need to still retake if you think you can improve your score.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
No problem.
So the reference is just for teacher from the school, or can be somebody else outside, in programs?
Oh no, I mean I would say if you have someone, because there's I always say there's different the kind of work you do with different people, they have different perspectives of you. So if you think that some of the if you have done work with a program and you think the kind of work you've done with that program is very different than what you've done at the school, I would say that that's a plus. You have different perspectives from different people.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you all for all these good questions. It's really appreciate that you guys are really interested in this. right? And do you have anything else to add to say now, or is it my turn? Oh.
No, I just find out for SUNY is the same. They are not requiring SAT score for 2021 and spring 2022. So SUNY and CUNY, we are for sure that they will not require SAT score. For private, it may be different.
So there you go, folks. You have it. So if you don't think that your SAT score is very good, then that just says that you have to do a lot better with your personal statements and your letters of recommendation. Those are going to be very important. So start making a list of teachers you would like to email.